Let's do it, people. Hey, you're live with Tim Black. Who's this?
Oh, this is Ben.
Okay, hold tight. I'm waiting for Preston. Just wanted to make sure. Thank you. All right, here we go. And I don't have Preston's number. Let's see. There we go. And we're going to roll the show again, man. One more time. Can we get some love here? Let's do it. All right. All right. All right.
Tim Black.
This is where I can get some more medicine.
Tim Black. Tim Black. Yes, I am. True. Funny. Tim Black. I am TimBlack.com. Tim Black.
There it is. Do that. There we go. Hope that works. Yes. Hey, people. All right. All right. All right. All right. We're okay now. All right. All right, everybody. How you doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to Tim Black at Night. We had some technical stuff. You know, something's going on with Google Hangouts. I think they got rid of it. Like, it won't go live. And I think they're doing that on purpose. I think they talked about getting rid of Google Hangouts. It looks like I got Skype just in time. So give it up for Skype Business coming on the way. All right. Thank you for all my people that stuck around and hung in there with me. You know, I appreciate you, you know, being adaptable, realizing it's the internet. You got a small budget. You do the best you can. You know, if I could fly Preston out, I would have. Speaking of Preston, Preston Picus is my guest tonight. Give it up for Preston Picus. All right. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get started in today's show, I want to give you an update about the Dakota Access Pipeline. I want you to know that there's some shady stuff going on there in North Dakota. More than shady, it's criminal. It's the trampling of people's civil rights. It's the snatching away of someone's humanity. Because what they are effectively saying is, we don't care about you. We don't care about you so much that if we happen to accidentally pollute your water, so what? You know, get over it. They couldn't do it when they tried. They couldn't get approval to run their pipeline through Bismarck, North Dakota, because those people had a little bit more scratch, a little bit more political power behind them. So they were able to thwart the pipeline from coming that way. But the poor folks of the indigenous area of Sacred Stone, they don't have that. Marginalized people always suffer the brunt of the government's heavy hand, whether it be over-policing, militarization of police, or the trampling of your rights as you see here. When was the last time eminent domain helped anyone except the government? That's exactly what it's for. It's a way the government can just say, hey, look, I know that's yours, right? But I'm going to have to go ahead and do what I need to do with that. Here goes the penny for your trouble, sir. So I want to encourage everyone who's watching this video to take it upon yourself to become educated. To realize that there is no Republican, there is no Democrat, there is no independent. There's just people. Just people trying to live. Just people trying to get by. Just people who want the best for their children. Just like you. You know, I sent out a tweet earlier today, right? It was to Hillary Clinton. And I said, you know, hey, here goes an opportunity for you to show us how progressive you are. And someone responded with some lukewarm, tepid, conciliatory, pragmatic, garbage reply. Very weak, very, very weak. So weak, it wasn't even worth reading. Because once again, it was, I'm on the side of the people, but I'm on the side of the company, but we should all just work it out. You know, there comes a time when you got to stand up for the people. Hillary Clinton does not have the backbone to do so. She can't stand up for the people because she is of the corporations. That's who has funded her campaign. That's what I keep telling these hillbots. Is she better than Trump? No. They both suck. But she sucks for totally different reasons. With that being said, please go find yourself a group connected to No DAPL, No Dakota Access Pipeline, No DAPL, I should say, No DAPL. Put the A before the P. A before the P. And get involved. Feel good about helping people, trying to help themselves. I wish you would. Give it up for anybody who has already donated, has already lent a hand. Shout out to Real Progressive. Shout out to Ed Higgins, who was on the ground. Shout out to those marquee people such as Shailene Woodley and Amy Goodman, who were arrested standing up for the indigenous people and the people of that area, and people all the way from Missouri, all the way up to Missouri or Illinois who are going to be affected. But shout out also, even more, to the people's names we don't know, to the less famous, to the non-celebrity who put themselves in harm's way. For all of us. Give it up. That's right. All right, Preston's in the queue, guys. I wanna tell you a little bit about the guest that I have tonight, because it's my pleasure to bring him back. You know, there's not many candidates nowadays that I don't know any days. You know, to be honest with you, I didn't follow politics too much until this cycle. I kind of got roped into it because I have great viewers, people that I don't just talk to, that I listen to, people that I have conversations with. People I never talked down to. And those people were able to educate me about the new era of politicians who are worth more than their salt, who mean what they say, who stand for something, who are not career politicians, who don't seek to gain positions in order to obtain wealth and influence, but seek to make changes in their own communities. People like my guest, who run on an independent platform, who is willing to take the best ideas of the Democrats and the best ideas from Republicans and independents and the Green Party and say, we don't care who gets credit as long as we all can benefit. Those are the type of people I love supporting. Those are the type of people my door will always be open to. Preston Picus is just one of those type of people. He believes in, we need immigration reform, but we don't need to hurt immigrants trying to go towards citizenship. He believes that a woman should have the right to choose. That's her body. He believes that we need to end interventionist wars. He believes in getting money out of politics and stop letting money control our politics and our politicians, turning sometimes good people into people who have to survive, so they got to take that money, which means they got to do that bidding. And if we get money out of politics, maybe people can actually run for office without being beholden to corporations. He believes in things like marriage equality. You want half your stuff to be taken? Line on up. I'm joking. Sometimes marriage is great. Education, the privatization of education is destroying our public school system. Greed and pursuit of power has convinced too many folks that you can treat education like a business when you can't. For all these reasons, everything I just stated, I'd like to bring on my guest, Preston Picus out of California, running against the incumbent, Nancy Pelosi. Hey, Preston. I hear you. Can you hear me? At least I thought I did. Hey, Preston. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Hello?
Well, I hear you. Preston, if you're there, you got me on mute, brother. If you're there, you got me on mute, Preston. I don't know if you're there, brother. That was I don't know if I can do that intro as good as I just did it. So I really hope you're there. No, that wasn't. That was somebody else who had a number similar to Preston's. All right, let me. I can't do. Look, that was probably the best intro I've ever given anyone on the Tim Black Show. Oh, here we go. Let me try again. Hey, Preston, how you doing, man?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now. Yeah, I hear you now. There he is, Preston Picus, one more time, yo. You
Can
made
you hear me
it.
now?
Yeah, I hear you now. Sprint.
Oh, I'm like a Verizon commercial. Eventually you'll hear me.
There you go, man. Preston, what's up, man? How are things going in the campaign, man?
Oh, they're going good. You know, we got 2 weeks now, we got less than 2 weeks. November 8th, we got the election coming up. We got people out in the streets. I was actually at a great, there's a local group. You want to talk about lasting effects of politics? Local group opened up called the Bernie-Crats of San Francisco. They held a politics forum, and they invited candidates for Board of Supervisors in San Francisco, school board, city college school board, and myself, the congressional candidate. And we had a great time 2 nights ago. I want to give a shout-out to them. They did a great job. You know, we got people on the streets right now. We're pushing a progressive ticket. We got a lot of exciting ballot measures on the California ticket. And, hey, at the end of the day, I'm going after one of the most powerful, wealthiest, most corrupt Democrats in the House right now, who is influential in rigging the primary against Bernie Sanders, has been influential in stealing from the middle class to give to her wealthy donors. And I got her one-on-one, me versus Nancy Pelosi, no Republican, no spoiler effect. And so we'll find out on November 8th what's about to happen.
I love it, man. You know, that's the thing. Now, and shout out to, you said the Bernie-Crats of San Francisco. What's the name of that group again?
That's the Bernie-Crats of San Francisco Bernie-Crats.
San Francisco
exactly
Bernie-Crats. I love it, man.
They're a democratically elected group. They have a great board. The presidents and the people who put a lot of the effort behind it, their name is Ben Becker and Claire Lau. They're a very organized, motivated couple that work hard, and they campaigned for Bernie. Ben Becker was a delegate for Bernie at the DNC, and they've created a wonderful group that has, I've been to some of their meetings. They vote on everything. They talk about things. They make decisions as a group. They're well organized, and they can motivate, man. They're going to be a lasting power in the San Francisco political scene.
Man, that's great, man. We were talking earlier, folks, that Preston was explaining how, you know, sometimes people they get a little discouraged because it's going to take more than one election to get some stuff done. And Preston was explaining how sometimes it takes time, or there's a process to this that we all need to understand. So, Preston, could you explain to people why they should stay motivated, though, hey, maybe we might not knock it out this time, but we're building?
Well, you know, so I've been talking about this a lot, and it's been sort of we've lost. We've had some losses in this political insurrection. We lost with Bernie Sanders in what we now know was a rigged Democratic primary. It was rigged. We said it was rigged. They called us conspiracy theorists. The emails prove it. They rigged it. We lost. We lost that one, and then we lost with Tim Canova down in Florida, which was, you know, very surprising considering how unpopular Wasserman Schultz is. But that shows the power of incumbent politics, and we're going to lose some more. You don't just get all wins when you start out like this, but what I like is that we're finally fighting. We're finally standing up and saying, this is enough. Enough is enough, and we're going to fight back, and we're going to take things to the next level. We know that the Democrats aren't our friends. Republicans, they're crazy politically. I mean, as humans, you know, I have empathy for them, but they're nuts. Democrats, they're not on our team, the corporate-owned Democrats. And we got to realize that that's a lot of power to fight all at once. And so it took them 30 years. If you read any economists, they say over the last 30 years they've been stealing from us. Well, I think we can win it back in 10 years. I think by 2022 we could have made great strides. But we're not going to win it back in 1. You're not going to win it back in 2. And so I tell everybody, okay, let's fight. We'll fight until November 8th. Then you regroup. You spend some time with your family. You take care of your business. You take care of the things you need to take care of. But then we're going again. We're going again. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to go here in California really hard for the next several years.
That's what it is, man. Give it up for Preston telling it like it is, man. You know, we got to have a long range view here, folks, because it took look people like, for instance, you know, Debbie Wasserman Schultz has been in Congress at least 2-3 terms, I don't know, 4 terms, 20 terms, I don't know. Someone knows that number, but whatever it is, she's entrenched. And when you're entrenched, people owe you favors, and you have a lot of leverage. So when we come and we say, you know, we want to make some changes, it may take more than one cycle for us to affect change, but it has to start somewhere. It has to start with our Tim Canovas. It has to start with our Preston Picus here, challenging an incumbent who's well. I mean, I think she's been in Congress. How long, Preston? 30 years?
27 years. 28 years. This is her 28th year coming up.
So it may take more than 2 years to unseat her. That makes sense to you? Like, look, like, you know, I need to lose 30 pounds. I'm not going to lose them overnight, but I'm going to get rid of them if I focus. I just put all my business out there, man.
You look good to me.
But you know, I'm realistic. You know, so
Right.
just like I can't expect to wake up next week or get up next week and look in the mirror and say, ooh, no more man boobs. I got to work on this stuff. And you know what? I didn't do that just to make fun of myself. I did it to make a point. Preston Picus is trying to get rid of the man boobs of California. Nancy Pelosi's like a pair of man boobs. We got to get rid of them. And we got to work on, we got to do our cardio and some swing classes, spin classes, you know. You have to do something. Help me out here, Preston. I'm drowning. But you understand what I'm saying, Preston?
I'm with you. I think I'm making a bumper sticker that says "Get rid of the man boob in California politics. Vote Picus 2016." I like it. I like it.
There it is.
No,
man.
and listen, and a lot of people who came to this from the Bernie Sanders movement, they had not done politics before, and this is good. This is what's going to happen because. When you talk to anybody that does politics or has been involved in politics, they all say the same thing. They all speak with the same certainty. They all talk about the same strategy. And you got fresh eyes, you got fresh legs, you got fresh people coming in. And the only thing that I think our group needs, our revolutionary progressive group, we just need to temper some expectations. You take some defeats, you take your wins, and you move forward and you continue on with the plan. And that's why I believe we need a new party. I'm tired of the Democrats using the Republicans to make everybody afraid. I'm tired of the disorganization in some of the other places. We're going to start a progressive party in California. We're going to start it here in California because we have a great opportunity with the top 2 primary system that we have here. I was talking about this the other night. Look, when you run as a third-party candidate, forget it, independent anything, and you go to the congressional level, which is why I believe we need to focus. 435 seats up every year. Incumbents win 97, 98% of the time. That's what's our roadblock. Congress needs to change. We can run candidates in California. We'll go to progressive areas in California. We have 53 congressional districts in California. We go to progressive areas. We put 20 candidates on the ballot in 2020 under the Progressive Party banner, and we win, let's say we win 6 or 7 of them. Well, those are deciding votes in a tight Congress. That is a powerful block, 6 or 7 candidates in Congress. And I think we can do it. Maryland, you go out to Maryland, it'll be tough because you'll have a Republican in the general, you'll have a Democrat, you'll have the Progressive Party candidate, and all these things. So there's 4 states in the United States that have top 2. We can start in California, we can move out to Washington, we can go down to Louisiana, and we start this party. We organize it, we motivate it, and we create something. Because that's what's been happening for us. If you look at what happened to Alex Law up in New Jersey, or Tim Canova down in Florida, or myself, or even Bernie Sanders, playing in the existing structure, not having the support of a unified, calibrated party system, it was really hard to overcome that. The organization of the Democrats, the organization of the Republicans, and so we are already down money, we're already down power. We cannot get out organized, and that's what's happened so far. So I'm looking to people to help me bring. We're going to go to November 8th. We're going to fight. We're going to win. We're going to win some. We're going to lose some. And after November 8th, by 2018, I want to get the Progressive Party of California on the ballot in California.
I love it. That's the way forward. Like you said, it's great that you mentioned Alex Law, because Alex been on this show and great guy. We had great conversations. Give it up for Alex Law. I really was pulling for him out there in New Jersey. What he's dealing with there. The incumbent, the corruption goodness, Preston, when I listened to the stories about New Jersey, brother, it was like listening to a mob movie. I thought I was in The Sopranos with the stranglehold they have on that area. And it's the same way, I'm sure, in California to a certain degree with Nancy Pelosi and back down to Florida. I spoke with Tim Canova this last weekend, and he told me he was thinking about running again in 2018. He's still weighing his options because he realizes, as you do, that this is a long game.
That's right.
I think
That's right.
our millennials. I think there's some people though who are just very frustrated right now because they want to add water, and create a revolution. And I think it's my job, Preston, as one of those people who has a platform that's not going anywhere, to keep people excited, like to keep them engaged, to keep issues in front of them, to keep the momentum going. So a year from now, you can come back, Preston. In 2 years from now, you can come back, Preston, and we can keep the platform going and let these issues, because if not, mainstream media will bury the issues and we won't hear anything else until you start running again. And that's what we don't need. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. No. Keeping people motivated and excited is tough right now. That's the thing we're running into. A lot of people are upset. You're looking at the candidates, you're thinking Clinton and Trump, terrible. Any other Republican candidate, Mitt Romney, John McCain, anybody would win this election over Hillary Clinton. And Trump is just a walking, talking dumpster fire. I don't even know what to say about that guy. He's an embarrassment to our species, honestly. And people look at this and they say, why should I care? Why should I continue going? And I get that. I hear that and I understand it. But at the end of the day, we have our lives on the line, and giving up is the same thing as dying. So you look around yourself and you say, what would you be willing to sacrifice? Because they're coming for everything. They're coming for the collapse of our society. They're coming for every ounce, every dollar of middle-class wealth. They're coming for as much as they can get out of us. I mean, heck, they're talking about return to slavery. Feudalism is on the rise. Fascism is marching. And you're going to let a couple losses deter you? I mean, what's next? So I think people need to be more realistic about what's happening. I mean, you could talk about it, and then remember that we got an environment that's under assault by these oil companies and what's going on up north with the Dakota Access Pipeline. We got big problems, and I don't mean to be depressing, but I mean to be real. We got big problems, and it is not enough to fight for 6 months or a year and then say, oh well, okay, it didn't work out. Where are you going to go? There's nowhere to go. We have to fight. We have to fight right now, because every time you take a rest and you take a step back, that's ground that is being gained by our opponents, and they're organized and they're motivated. And so we need to fight. We need to fight with everything that we got. And I think it's going to be an exciting time. Look, I said this the other day, and I'll say it again. The bums, their time has come. The people have woken up, and it's nearly over for them. And so we'll see a couple last desperate gasps for power. But give us 2 to 4 years before we start turning this thing around. The people, when they get moving in a direction, they're hard to stop.
Absolutely. Give it up for dumpster fire. Give it up for dumpster. I don't think I heard him. I don't think I've heard Trump compared to a dumpster fire before. That's pretty good. Pretty creative. Kudos. I was looking at some of the issues as I was trying to do a little background on Preston and some of the issues facing Californians. I looked at this thing called Proposition 61. And, it got me thinking about ObamaCare flaws. And I titled this video ObamaCare flaws after this proposition. Where do you stand on Proposition 61, Preston?
So I'm for it. I'm for 61. It's a tough one, though. It's not as cut and dry as people like to make it out to be. So what Proposition 61 does is it says that some government agencies, not all, some government agencies are allowed to purchase pharmaceuticals at the same price that the VA is able to purchase these drugs. And it doesn't do a lot of things to prevent tampering. So, in other words, right now the VA pays very low price for drugs, so it seems good, right? And I'm for it because of the precedent that it sets that we do need to. Look, pharmaceutical companies, pharmaceutical industry is equal to banking in terms of profitability. The profit margin's around 20%. For instance, oil and gas, their profit margin's around 7%, okay? Pharmaceuticals are 20%. That's because they're not doing that much, and they're ripping people off. But when your profit margin is that high, Pfizer's profit margin is 41%. That means they're doing a really small amount, and they're taking a huge amount of money. So what Prop 61 does is it goes in the right direction of saying pharmaceutical companies can't just rip everyone off as much as they want, which I agree with. It's got a couple problems, like, so pharmaceutical companies, because they're greedy and they don't care about humanity and they're going to rip people up, what they could do is they could just raise the prices for the VA. Then they wouldn't lose any money, and in fact, they would be going to our vets and our most vulnerable population and screwing them out of more money. They could do that because they're sharks. They don't care about humanity. There's a couple other things that could happen with it, but I like it and I support it because it sets a good precedent. We need to start going across the country, and we need to start going after these pharmaceutical industries. They're making huge fortunes at the expense of people who are sick. They're making fortunes at the expense of people who need life-saving drugs, and they're criminal. They're just bad people when they're doing that kind of stuff, and I want to get after them. So I'm for 61. I think it is good. I was with Bernie at the rally when he was here, supporting 61, and I stand with it. And I think it's good. I mean, I'm for it.
Gotcha. And I thank you, Preston, for explaining some of the details about it, because of course I did not know that I had looked at the opportunity or the possibility that they could raise rates on our VA people, in order to mitigate the cost of the reductions in costs that they could charge based on us using that as a gauge. Goodness gracious, man. But I was looking at the Obamacare, because it's been affecting people I've known for quite some time, but the flaws in Obamacare that affect small businesses. I was looking at that, and I know a friend of the show has a very small business, a computer business, and known this guy for several years now. And he was telling me he may have to go out of business because of Obamacare. Not because he doesn't provide good service to his clients, not because he can't find clients to get service from or to service in order to make a living, not because he's not keeping up with the latest technology, nothing else, just because of the increasing amount of money it costs to insure his employees. Have you heard stories like this?
From time to time I have, but I do find them to be the statistical outlier. You're going to have that, I think. Let me be clear. I'm not a huge fan of Obamacare. I mean, it's working. It is. I do believe it's getting some people the insurance that they need. But if you take a look at the law, all Obamacare did is set the legal precedent when they sued all the way to the Supreme Court that the government can punish citizens for not buying private insurance. So if you don't give money to an insurance company, then the government can punish you. And right now it's by charging you a fee for not giving money to a private insurance company. And so it doesn't actually do what we want it to do, which is guarantee health care for all American citizens. And so I think that there are massive flaws. And so I'm not surprised to hear that in the regulatory framework it's hurting some things. But Tim, to be honest, I would compare it more to what would happen if you increase the minimum wage. If we go to $15 an hour, some businesses are going to hurt. The way some things are structured, paying that $15 minimum wage, and unfortunately a lot of times it's going to be some small businesses. But what's going to happen in the long term? So your friend may lose his business. I don't know the situation. I'd look at it, but he may lose his business. Some people may lose their businesses. But what's going to end up happening is, with growth and improvement in services, is you're going to end up with that guy being able to probably start another business with because more people are going to be, being able to use their insurance to find other ways. In other words, short term, there's retraction in some areas because growth takes a long time. Some people might close their businesses when we get $15 minimum wage, but it's going to inject funds back in from the middle class. It's going to put more purchasing power in the hands of consumers, and over time, it's going to grow. So I haven't heard a ton of those, but I'm sure that they're existing. I'm sure that is occurring.
Okay, well, that's a fair response. I mean, I guess, with our mainstream media the way it is, the way they report stuff, report on issues, you may not know both sides of the coin, and you may not look at it in that total framework. And the way that you explained it, yeah, I guess if we raise the minimum wage, there'll be people that are going to be happy, of course, right? But then there are going to be people who may have to cut jobs, right? Because maybe a small business might not be able. Well, now I can't pay you $10. I got to pay you $15. Somebody got to go. And that may be you, little man. And he's like, what? It's like, well, what can I do? I can't pay it. I'm about to cut down my employee staff. So Gosh, and I guess you're right. Maybe he goes somewhere else. He finds a job because now people are making more money because those businesses are able to, I don't know, because people are buying more goods because they have more money to buy goods with. I see your point, Preston. That's a way to look at it. But damn it, man, I just hate to hear people getting hurt. And I guess either way, people are going to get hurt.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not a huge fan of Obamacare, and
Right.
The ACA is not a great way to go. But again, so kind of like similar to what we were talking about with this Prop 61, it's a step in the right direction. And so,
Okay.
I'm and when you take a look through what economists have to say, I'm hopeful that it's going to do more good than bad. But look, we have to stay vigilant, stay monitoring it, because like I say. And, like your viewers should know, the only thing that it technically does, that ACA, is it gives the government the ability to punish citizens for not purchasing private insurance. And that's a dangerous precedent, and we have to watch where that goes.
Right. Goodness gracious. What are some of the cornerstones, man? What are some, like, I'm sure everyone has their wheelhouse. Like with me, it's police brutality, it's human rights, it's civil rights. For you, what's your wheelhouse? What are some things that you are just championing because they right to the core of who Preston Picus is?
Well, right away, money in politics. You talked about at the beginning of your show. In my campaign, I'm legally allowed to accept $5,400 from an individual, but my opinion is I don't think very many people can afford $5,400. So it changes who you're trying to talk to. And so when you're going for those big donations, you're trying to, have dinner with millionaires, and you're trying to get to party on the yachts with the billionaires, and you're, catering to a certain audience. And so I've only accepted $540 because more people can afford that, and it makes it for a much more populous campaign. And while that's hamstring us, a lot of times we've not been able to purchase the things that we needed. Staff has gone to, they've had to work with much less pay than I could have had. It's been good because I am not beholden to any donors. And that's without even talking. And I don't take super PAC money, because super PAC is one really rich guy or girl, one really rich human coming in and saying, here's all this money as long as you always do what I want you to do. And if you are interested in political power, it's an easy way to go. You're going to get a lot of money. You're going to get a lot of commercials. You're going to be able to hire a big staff and get a really nice office, but you're selling your soul and you're destroying the American Republic. So to me, if we can get that money out of politics, if we can stop voting for candidates that take that money, because, it's not like, I don't believe that these Congress people started off as bad people. I don't think they woke up one day and said, you know what, I want to rip off the American people, I want to step on the middle class, and I want to destroy opportunities for lower income people. I'm going to go run for Congress. I think they had ideals. I think they had some good ideas.
Right.
But to run for Congress, they had to start getting some money, and then you get the money, and then now you need some more money. So now these guys are kind of telling you some things. You're meeting with the bundlers, and you're meeting with the lobbyists, and you need the super PAC money. And next thing you know, your whole day is spent on the phone begging millionaires and billionaires to give you money, and in return, you're saying anything they want to hear, anything they like. And that's why Congress just doesn't work for middle income and lower income folks. If you look at my opponent, Nancy Pelosi, she's worth $100 million. $100 million. Her friends are all really rich. She raised $450 million in one cycle in two cycles for the Democrats. So $500 million she raised. And you got to ask yourself, what's happening in those conversations that she's getting all those millions? She seems like a nice woman, and maybe she's very charming, but there's some promises being made there, and I could guess at the ones that are happening, but I would leave it to the average citizen to ask, what happens in a conversation with a congresswoman that gets an individual to pony up $10 or $20 million to something like the Democrat Party? Idealism is a very nice way of thinking of it, but it's going to be some favors. You're going to know that you're going to get the things that you want, and in fact, investing, bribing Congress people is the best return on your dollar investment of all time. It's like 10 to 1. Like, you get a huge amount of money back for the amount of money that you put in. So to me, I think all these other issues come from the fact that Congress is supposed to represent the American people, but instead it represents 0.01% of Americans that fund 87% of our elections.
Give it up for that. I take umbrage, man. I truly feel you when you say not everyone, comes into this thinking negatively or thinking, hey, let me take advantage of people. But it's the climate, it's the environment in which they have to swim that can turn you into a shark, even if you weren't one to begin with. That's unless you want to become din-din. So that's a good point, Preston, and it's something we don't talk much about. We spend a lot of time kind of beating up on politicians who do the wrong thing and put it into a context of, well, maybe if they didn't have to do the wrong thing to survive, some of them, I don't want to give them a pass, though. I mean, no one should be no one should be turning their back on fracking, but I couldn't do it. I don't know how you do. I don't know how you be successful in a business where it almost forces you to be slimy. Like, Preston, I feel for you, man. You got a tough battle ahead of you.
Oh, and I'll tell you, what makes it worse is until you get that money, it's the press, the mainstream media won't really take you seriously. So you're really stuck because one of the reasons I've got thousands of followers, tens of thousands of people come out and help me with things, but I didn't raise, $1 million, and so the press, it's easy for them to dismiss me, and suddenly it's a pissing contest of sorts to see who can raise the most money so that they're the most serious candidate. I mean, look, the other day I did an interview for a magazine, and they talked about how I had no chance of winning, and that reporter called me up and said, you know what, I apologize for putting that in there, but I couldn't get it published unless I said that you had no chance of winning because your opponent is very powerful and she's got very powerful friends, and these are all the people that have donated huge amounts of money over time, and they're expecting a return on that investment. So not only is Pelosi a millionaire, not only is she, extremely wealthy and former Speaker of the House, but all these rich people that she's convinced to bribe congressmen by giving them these millions of dollars, they need that money back. They didn't give it away for nothing. They want that return. So if I win, all of a sudden, they've just blown, $100 million or whatever it is that they've spent.
Hold on, Preston. Preston. I thought they gave Hillary that money just because they liked her. You mean they expect something from the money?
Oh man, it's hard. It's hard to believe, isn't it, Tim?
It's hard to believe
that these very wealthy individuals expect a return on their investment. I had trouble believing it at first too.
Like people who are very good with money, who've made their money typically off of knowing how to use money to make more money, are giving people money, and people are going, well, they don't expect anything from it, and people are buying it, Preston. Like they if someone gives me $10, they want something typically. They may want me to keep doing my show. But if I all of a sudden started like championing, go Trump, they would they would pull their $10 because that's not the type of business they want to support. You know what I'm saying? Because that wasn't the deal going in. And I don't know. I mean, it's just logic that people want something for something. If someone gives me $25 a month for this show, and some people do, Preston, I stop doing shows, they take their money back. I mean, because it's an agreement. Why can't we be wise enough, logical enough, Preston, to realize that when these campaigns get this type of money, these politicians collect this type of money from people who have vested interests in different corporations, that those corporations would not in turn want something back? Why is that so hard to get?
And when study after study shows you the return on investment, the ROI on lobbying and bundling and bribing is so good, in a way, if you're really rich and you don't have a moral compass, you got to be a fool not to go and bribe some Congress people, And that's why it's our job to create some laws that stops that from happening. If you don't have a moral compass, okay, and you don't care about humanity, you're a bit of a psychopath, and you're in charge of a corporation, and you have an opportunity to just dump toxic waste in an area, and you're going to make a lot of money off of it. Well, we have a thing. We have an EPA. We have regulations that the government's supposed to come over and say, well, actually, you can't just throw toxic waste on people, even though you're going to make a big profit. And that doesn't always work out, right? But we don't even have the FEC, which oversees campaigns, is so underfunded, and they're, I assume they're good people, but they just have so many campaigns to go after, so many millions of dollars going around. And now with Citizens United making it so that it's really hard to trace the soft money, we've made it damn near impossible to regulate this cancerous bribing of officials that we call, money in politics.
And here I thought all of our problems with politics had to do with Russia. What's your opinion on WikiLeaks, Preston? I'd like to hear just your thoughts.
Oh, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Julian Assange. I'm a fan of WikiLeaks. There's a really interesting debate right now amongst the intellectuals involved with bringing truth. Okay, and so Glenn Greenwald has had some things to say about the way WikiLeaks decides to release information. Glenn Greenwald is the guy that broke the Edward Snowden story. Edward Snowden has had some things to say. These are very interesting discussions. But at the end of the day, WikiLeaks is bringing the truth of what the power elite is doing to the people, and that is how it should be. Your private life should be private as a citizen. And if you're powerful, or if you're in government, your action should be public. That's just a fact. And, I hate this parsing that's coming out of the neoliberal writers who say, oh, well, that was Podesta's private email, and we shouldn't be seeing that. You know what? The heck with you. Podesta is a slimy guy. He's got his hands all over all of our government. He's wheeling and dealing power, and we get a glimpse inside of what he's doing, and it is as bad as we think it is. Well, you know what? The heck with his little private thoughts that he gets to have. He lost those the minute that he decided to sell out the American people to get power no matter what it takes. Him and his brother, running that. His brother's running for the Saudis, a lobbying effort to get the United States to have a more favorable opinion of them and the way that they behead people and the way they treat women and all these bad things that the Saudis do. So, it takes a lot of courage. Look, Edward Snowden is a hero to the American public. He needs to be pardoned. Obama's a coward for not pardoning him.
I agree.
Chelsea Manning needs to be released from prison. We got to stop punishing whistleblowers. Obama punished more whistleblowers under the Espionage Act than all presidents before him put together. He's got a war against whistleblowers, against truth tellers. The only person that ended up in jail over the bad stuff we were doing down at Guantanamo Bay is the person that told us about it. We have to stop going after whistleblowers. But you can see, right? You can take a look at Hillary Clinton. She hates WikiLeaks because they're telling all of her secrets, and so she wants to find a way to kill Julian Assange. That's her idea. I mean, she likes to kill people. That's one of the things she enjoys doing.
Right.
But we got to stand up. We got to stand up for people, for groups like WikiLeaks.
I agree, man. I agree 100%, man. I think it's time that we say to all the people out there who are opposed to truth. When people ask me, because a lot of people don't pay attention to this stuff, they're not really in tune. I know it's amazing, but there are people who don't even know really what WikiLeaks is. And I explain it to them this way, Preston. I say WikiLeaks is like your grandma. She puts, when you send your grandma a card, she puts it up on a mantle. See, WikiLeaks is putting on a mantle leaked documents, right, that someone gave them. WikiLeaks does not go out and go to the store and stand in line and look over the information. No, someone else has retrieved the information somehow and given it to them. And so I try to explain to them, like, look, why are you punishing grandma for putting up the information? If anything, you should be concerned about what the information is or what the card is. That's the way I describe WikiLeaks. And on another note, why aren't we seeing any good leaks, Preston? If you went into my email right now, I'd be pissed. But you know what you'd find? You'd find a bunch of emails, people saying, Tim, thank you for what you're doing. Tim, how can I volunteer for you? You find Tim, Tim, here goes some suggestions for the show. You're not going to find any covert, dirty, disgusting emails about these people suck or Preston, where's Preston's hair? Why is his hair like my hair? Is he trying to be bald like me to corner the market on baldness? I mean, you're not going to see any negative, you know what I mean? So that should be a question people ask themselves. They should say, where is all the good emails? And these leaks, why aren't there a bunch of conversations that are positive, that makes the Clintons look great? I mean, shouldn't that be there? If she's been in Congress and she's been a senator, she's been first lady, she's had all this enormous time, all this experience. Where is all the great information, Preston, about this woman? Where are the private conversations about how she's helping all of these children and helping the disabled and helping veterans? Where are the conversations like that? Why, when I see the dumps, it's repeatedly people talking, recklessly, making horrible statements about people, even some people they call friends. And I know it's a little bit of a rant, but I'm just saying, if someone went into your email right now, Preston, I doubt they would find the disgusting, bunch of lies and people plotting how best to lie about something instead of just tell the truth.
That's a good point. I think the problem is that they used all three of her good emails as publicity, right? I'm sure there were three of them. One was about her helping one friend, one was her helping someone else, and they released those to the public already, so we already saw those.
I saw them. Man. Gosh, man, I don't know where else to go, man. We talked about the Dakota Access Pipeline. We talked about WikiLeaks. What else is in the news, or what else is current that you would like to discuss that people may have on their minds? I don't know.
Yeah, good question. I mean, the Dakota Access Pipeline is on my mind right now. Looking at that footage today, we posted it to my Facebook page, and we're following it closely, and we stand with the people of fighting the resistors, fighting against this infringement on their lands. I was just doing a little research. I watched an interview with Mark Ruffalo, who I admire, and he was talking about how this goes back to a treaty back in 1861 that the federal government signed with the people there, saying that was their land, and now they're saying, well, it's not your land because we want to get some oil through there. And watching the militarized police force show up and tanks and batons and assault weapons, and they start marching on them and beating them up and arresting them, and I just think, man, this is not my America. How did we get to a point where we have an army, a standing army, ready at any moment's notice to go and destroy and hurt Americans on behalf of private corporations? And that, to me, is a frightening thing. And I hope that there's enough cops left with a sense of moral obligation to stand up when they come for all of us, because right now the mechanism is strong, and they're showing it right now. I mean, the only disagreement that they have up there is about property that is supposed to belong to a group of our Native American brothers and sisters, and they were robbed and raped and stealed by the federal government. They got a treaty. They went back on that treaty. They got another treaty. They went back on that treaty. Now they have this piece of land. They got water coming to it, and this oil company says, "Screw you, humans," because we don't really like humans. That's why we go for oil. Screw you, humans, and screw your water. We're gonna put a pipeline here, and people are peacefully protesting, and the federal government says, "That's it. Send in the army. Let's go get them." And that's terrifying. It's honestly upsetting to me today.
I've had a couple people write me letters and make videos and tag me in their videos. They're like, well, Tim, not everyone is so peaceful in the protest. And look, peaceful means that they don't have guns and they aren't, shooting at the police. Peaceful does not mean that you shut up. Okay, protest rallies, water protectors or whatever, the way you want to classify these people, I call them water protectors, but at any type of demonstration, people say things. You can't demonstrate silently, okay? So that doesn't mean it's not peaceful, okay? So stop sending me stuff telling me these people aren't peaceful because they are standing, they won't be moved. They're refusing to move. It's called a sit-in, okay? We sat in the 60s. It's like, we're going to sit here, we're not going to move. We're not going to let you do this thing that you're trying to do. We're going to block you. But it's a peaceful resistance because they're not hurting police officers, okay? So that's still peaceful. It's just some people, Preston, are just so brainwashed and just have a hard time trying to get through the skull. The skull is full of mainstream propaganda and full of they don't realize that they're on the wrong side of this thing, and they need to just wake up, because if that pipe burst, right, there are going to be millions of people who are affected. Right, and there have secretly, a lot of people don't know, Preston, there have been many leaks across this country that no one talks about. Okay, that the destruction behind those leaks are far-reaching. In Canada, they have a pipeline that burst, and people they can't plant crops on it. They can't drink the water. What do those people do? And if you're an indigenous person who's sort of separate, they don't just go to Walmart, right? They live off the land. That's another thing. It's like a cultural difference. People don't understand. These people live off the land on these reservations. That's what they do. They don't just go to McDonald's. I mean, they can, but they live off the land. It's different. So it's just hard to. The mainstream media has done a good job, Preston, of not talking about issues. The same way they shut you out because they say you didn't raise a cotillion amount of dollars, you didn't raise a gazillion dollars, so we don't need to listen to you. You know, they don't look at the fact that what the issues that you stand for. They just look at how much money you got and make a determination if you're serious or not. Not based on policy, not based on qualifications or your breadth of knowledge on an issue, but just based on dollars. So I'm real punchy, Preston. I haven't had a show in a couple of days, so I'm really punchy, man. You got to excuse me, brother.
I feel it. I like where you're going. To what you're saying, there's been dozens and dozens, hundreds of oil pipeline leaks across this country, and they never ever get news. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm not sure if we can say that's not connected to the fact that 9 out of 10 of the wealthiest companies in the world are oil companies. When you take a look at the amount of money they have, and you take a look at the fact that our mass media is for sale, they're based on a profit regimen that requires advertising purchases. It's not, I think suddenly it's not surprising that of the hundreds of oil pipeline leaks that go around, we don't hear about a single one. I'm not surprised,
Not a single one, brother. Not until it's unable to be kept under wraps anymore because somebody finally did their damn job, which is hard to get them to do. But, Preston, before you go, man, please tell people where to go to get more information, where they can follow you, and where they could sign up for the long haul of helping someone who's truly progressive, help better the system and help change the system from within. Tell them, Preston.
Yes. Well, you know what? So you come onto our website. We're www.picus2016.com. That's PICUS2016.com. We're going to be there. We got the election coming up November 8th. If you're in the Bay Area, we could use you. Come on out. We got a progressive ticket that we're pushing out here, and we're going to be out on the streets. After November 8th, what you need to do, and even up until then, sign up on our website and give us your email address. I don't send a lot of emails, but I will keep you connected. And when we start to push the progressive revolution, after this election, win or lose, we're going for a Progressive Party of California, and we'd love to have you. So you sign up. If you go right to our email, it says join us. Give us your email address and a little bit of information. Actually, just give us your email address. I don't even care about the rest. My people will be in touch. We'll email you after the election. We'll depending on if we win, we'll be transitioning. If we lose, we'll be taking a break for maybe 6 weeks or something like that, and then we're going to come back pretty strong. So we're going to need you. We're going to need the entire Tim Black at Night audience. We're going to need the progressives from across the country. We're going to need you to tell your friends, and we're going to keep pushing forward. And as I say, giving up is the same thing as dying, and it is not yet our time to perish from this earth. So join us. We're going to continue this fight for a long time.
I love it, man. Guys, give it up for Preston Picus, man. Go to Picus2016.com. Follow this man, and let's get excited about what the future holds and what we will create in our future with people like Preston. Thank you, Preston, for your time, brother.
Thank you, Tim. Keep doing your thing. We appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Give it up for Preston and also being patient, too, because we had to readjust platforms, and he hung around, and he came back. That's what I'm talking about. And I believe he's going to come back regardless of what the outcome is in 2016 and to do it all again in 2017 and to keep up the momentum and build on what he's created. Sort of like Tim Canova in that conversation was like, look, the name is out there now. Now people know who Tim Canova is. Now, now we can take that and we can continue strides. So that's what it is. Once you start getting your name recognized, and people, it starts to open doors. Okay, and that's what to me. I think it's a long game. It's a long game. Like me, I've been doing this for 3 years. I tell people all the time, and I get emails from people. They say, Tim, like, what should I do? I want to get involved. I want to start a show. I say, well, look, it took me 3 years to get to this point. I have various steps that I took, and I had to learn a lot of things where I could just bring on Preston and flow and have a show just be interesting and also informative at the same time. That's something that developed over time from doing it. So now my name is out there to a certain extent, but who knows where I'll be 2 years from now or 5 years from now. So that's the way you have to look at it, and that's why I admire people like Preston, because they already understand that going in. So fantastic, guys. He gets it. I want you to know that later, soon, Margaret Flowers will be with us next Tuesday. Give it up for Margaret Flowers, running here in Maryland in the Green Party. I'm a big fan of Margaret. Met her when I was in Philly at the Jill Stein headquarters. She was there doing some research and interacting with the Jill Stein staff, so I'm looking forward to that time with her. Also, Armin Connie, my friend Arn, is coming on the show next week. So it's a lot to be excited about. And some great people are just, just ready to make some change happen. And we need to support these candidates that are about progress, who are about issues that affect us all. So do me a favor, guys. Just stay engaged with me. Stay engaged. Thank you for all of your well wishes. I'm not 100%. I don't need to be 100. Because, frankly, some of the people that are out there talking in the mainstream media, if they're at 100, I could be at 50 and still be more effective than them, because what they're telling you is garbage. In fact, I could be at 20% and still be more effective than them, because they're lying to you every step of the way, because they're getting paid to. The only people that pay me are you. Okay? And so the only people that I owe something to are my viewers. And last time I heard, my viewers wanted truth above all else. And that's what I try to give you every time out. Though I may be raspy, I'm still classy. I love you guys, man. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I'm going to give a shout out to my team before. My team has been putting up with a lot. I see, Tim Black's sick, and they still doing what they do. Nicole Luongo, Malika Rogers, give it up for them. All right? Give it up for the fresh group of trolls that have come through my chat area recently. Give it up for them. I'm showing that the channel is growing, so we got new trolls. Give it up for the new trolls. Most importantly, give it up to everyone who sent me a picture and put cornbread in the title. A picture of themselves wearing a Tim Black piece of apparel, whether it be a Don't Let Nobody Take Your Cornbread, or a Wolfpack shirt, or a Team Black shirt, or a Tim Black show shirt, or a mug, right? Thank you so much. I've been grouping them, and we have submitted them to our website, and they're going to make a page for it. So please, guys, keep them coming. If you got it, wear it, put it on, and just come on, take a picture. I appreciate you showing that we built a community, man. We done something. We built this. These are like family. We put that together, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud to have people from all over the country and beyond, outside of the country as well, man, who come here because they say that they value what I do, and they value the group of people more than just what I do. They value you guys. You value each other. So express it, share it, show it off. That's right, show it off, man. I got great people. So as pissed off as I am at this election season, this election cycle, I am blessed because I met such great people, and that they keep coming back and supporting this channel. People like Hey Hun and Newport 75 and Always and Angel Tibbs and Campsey Grothendike and Grandma Christine 42 and Ralph Rance and Ruth Rance. And I still love you, Ruth Rance. Roro Rance. I still love you, woman. What's wrong with you? Uncle Ron, my man. For a Second Companion, and Jenny Lynn, and Elaine Bennett, and Shauna Jordan, and Low Key, and KG Cooligan, and Broken Carpenter, and Brewers for Bernie, 64 Cadillac, Prof Shells, Ken Clark, Fred Murphy. I know all these people. I know you, and you know me. We're one that know. That was corny. Out Politics, and Jenny Lynn, and Stephanie Chateau, Wolfpack Jake Smith, Born to Raise Hogs, Froze Toes. Who's going to forget Froze Toes? Not me. All right? So, guys, we got to band together and form Voltron. Isn't that right, Mike K? Frederick Murphy? We got to form Voltron and get behind people like Preston Picus, man. And I'm serious when I say this, guys. When I talked to Armin Connie at the Unity for Democracy March, And I told him, I said, my goal is to keep this platform alive and keep it open for progressives to come on here and to express themselves and give them a platform so that they can reach the world. And as I grow, they grow, and it's just a continuation. I'm going to talk about all types of issues and bring on different types of guests, but there will always be a home for people who mean well for the people. And I will always give you spotlight. Always. And I think that's the beauty behind it all. So, I'm going to keep fighting this bug. It's bad, but it's not so bad that I can't talk. So, hey, I don't have to, what do I have to do? I don't have to do handstands. I just have to talk. So if you can bear with the nasally thing going on, then we'll be back tomorrow. And we got to be back tomorrow, man. I have to be back tomorrow because tomorrow, as you all know, is Freedom Friday.
Let me just say I am reserving judgment.
No, come back tomorrow for Freedom Friday where you get 5 minutes to call up and voice your opinion. You get to rant or ask questions or any combination thereof. And that's what it's about, man. So be here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, tune in during the day for my Coffee Time show. Do me a favor, go to YouTube. Subscribe to this channel, share a video with a friend, tell a friend about this great show that you know of where people talk, express themselves, and there's no spin, there's no hiding of the truth. And even when we have difference of opinion, we do so without villainizing and demonizing one another. No one curses you out and talks about your mother and we have a great show and we got great people. So that's it. All right, guys. Can we play a little music? Plus, where else are you going to get Harmonica Man, just out of the blue? Who else gets that?
We have Crooked Hillary, Fox.
And where else will you get the truth about Hillary, but also the truth about Donald Trump at the same time? I don't know. Like everybody else is like, the only faults they see are Trump faults. They don't see faults with Hillary. It's just, bad Trump, and then they just stop the conversation there. Well, here the conversation keeps going because we got 2 bad candidates, not just one bad candidate, and we're going to talk about both their bad butts, and then we're going to talk about what's good in America, which would be Dr. Jill Stein and Najamu Baraka. That's what we talk about. Shoot. All right. That's it, guys. I see you tomorrow. Keep the faith. Keep having my back. I'll have yours. And remember, don't you let nobody take your cornbread. Tim Black's Wolf Pack is in the house. And when you're dealing with these trolls online, do yourself a favor, like my favorite comedian David Chappelle would say.
Let's sprinkle some crack on them and get out of here. Sprinkle some crack on them and get out of here.
Sprinkle some facts on them and get out of there. Don't waste time arguing with numbskulls. We're out.
Tim Black. Tim Black. Tim Black. Yes, I am. Truth. Funny. Tim Black. I am TimBlack.com. Tim Black.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.